Hello, everyone, and welcome. Eagles insider Dave Spadaro along with the Hall of Famer Brian Westbrook, and we're talking about the Eagles' defense in the trenches. Sunday, a big game against the Indianapolis Colts. A dominant performance, Brian, particularly in the red zone. Once again, the Colts 1 of 5. Carson Wentz turns the ball over twice. The Colts only get 2 field goals out of that. Difference maker.
Well, it kind of reminds me of a defense that I play with, bend but don't break. We'll give you some yards in between the 20s, but when it gets down to the red zone, we're not going to allow you to get into the end zone. And when you talk about this defense, 1 of 5, you're talking about the Colts offense in the red zone. They've only scored 1 touchdown there. That's a great job by the defense. That's a winning defense. And, of course, just like you mentioned, Carson Wentz put them in a couple bad situations. They found a way to bow up and not allow the Colts to get in.
You know, I wonder if the formula from the rest of the NFL is get the quarterback, 3-step drop, ball out quickly. That's the only way to beat these guys. Attack the cornerbacks.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. That's the formula. You're saying if you're going to take a 5-step drop against this team with these edge rushers, Chris Long coming off the edge, Derek Barnett, good game yesterday, coming off the edge, push up the front from Fletcher Cox. It's not possible to take a 5-step drop, pat the ball, and then throw it. You're going to get hit in the face as a quarterback. These quarterbacks are coming in saying, I got 2 seconds. I'm going to catch the ball, look, and get the ball out right away. That's what our defense has to expect.
Why the red zone success? I know we talk about this, but has it now become, it's certainly a point of pride for the defense.
No
the level of confidence is sky high. When they have their backs against the wall, in this case the end zone, they're out there attacking.
Point of pride, you know, as far as the field goes, it's a lot less area to cover. So now the players that we have, which are very, very good in space, they do a much better job. And, you know, I think Jalen Mills personally gives up some plays in the big field. But when it comes down to the red zone, he's longer. His size allows him to play much better in that area. And I think he does a much better job down there.
It's interesting with Jalen, 10 targets to T.Y. Hilton, only 5 receptions on Sunday. So not bad. A couple of penalties on Mills, who's a physical cornerback. But here's the thing about Jalen Mills that you like. He knows he's going to get the heat. He knows teams are throwing at him. Yeah. And he doesn't back down. And that is something that is so important. He's not afraid.
The best cornerbacks that have ever played this game have a mental confidence that you can never shake. It doesn't matter whether you have a big play. It doesn't matter whether they gave up a touchdown, whatever. They come back that next drive and say, it doesn't matter. I remember having a conversation. Actually, I was listening to a conversation of Troy Vincent and Jim Johnson my rookie year. And Troy said, listen, you guys are blitzing. And Jim was mad at him. And Troy came to the sideline and Jim was getting on him. And Troy said simply, you guys are blitzing. You got to get home. That's your job. I'm covering for 3 seconds. That's my job as a corner. And we gave up a big play. They didn't get home. But as a cornerback, you have to have that confidence, the mindset that says no one can beat me, even if you just got beat. And I think Jalen Mills certainly has that.
Derek Barnett, you mentioned him, second-year player from Tennessee. Brian, what have you seen from him as he's grown into a starter, into an all-around player?
Well, you mentioned being, growing. I've seen him grow into his body. I've also seen his confidence continue to increase. He's worked on some moves in the offseason. I think what we saw yesterday was his ability to get on the edge, dip on the edge, and be able to get to the quarterback, pressure him, push him up in the pocket just a bit. He also has worked on the inside move. When he came out of school, he was more speed, off the edge. But he couldn't get inside. He didn't have that secondary move. Yesterday, he showed a secondary move, and it worked wonders.
And I'd like to, kind of unofficially, if you will, begin a little campaign. We hear the names Ndamukong Suh and Aaron Donald, and we hear all about Khalil Mack, who's very dominant.
Yep.
But let's start a little drumbeat, please, for Fletcher Cox, who has started this season with absolute aggressiveness on every play, physical on every play, great technique. He's getting to the quarterback, 3 sacks. He's taking over the line of scrimmage. Why does nobody talk about him?
This is funny to me. If I'm an offensive player, obviously I was, and I see that guy over there, I'm saying to my team, just double team him every play. Everybody else can single block, but if we don't allow 91 to take over the game, we have a chance. Fletcher Cox continues to get man-to-man block, and I've seen it, little shake, and he, the Reggie head slap, the arm. Fletcher Cox has that down pretty well. Obviously, he's not Reggie, but he's pretty doggone good at that. Strength, speed, good feet. You should get the respect when you talk about Donald. You talk about Ndamukong Suh. Fletcher Cox should be mentioned in that category.
I wonder, it's still early, but he's been in the Pro Bowl the last 3 years. He's been an All-Pro the last 3 years. Someday, at what point we're talking about Fletcher Cox potentially being a Pro Football Hall of Famer?
He's very good. He has to continue to push.
But
I
6
mean,
or 7 more years, right?
Yeah.
Of greatness.
Continue the dominance. That's the thing that Hall of Famers have. Not just good. You have to dominate your entire career. That's what Hall of Famers have done.
And the Eagles dominated on Sunday, beating the Indianapolis Colts 20-16, as we thought the defense kind of leading the way here early in the season, as the Eagles 2-1 with a date on Sunday at Tennessee. That is our In the Trenches. Dave Spadaro and Brian Westbrook, thanks so much for joining us.